Like, Alex is the only one.
Right.
So hello and welcome.
Welcome to the
This
live
week's
replay of
episode.
the Dutch Grand Prix. That was
Welcome.
views from the grandstand.
So hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. In case you hadn't guessed, we're going to be talking about the Dutch Grand Prix. But first, breaking news from the world of Formula One that we all saw coming. Valtteri Bottas has now officially signed for Alfa Romeo for next year, replacing, presumably, Kimi Räikkönen. Gio's future is still to be announced, poor Giovinazzi. But Richard, your immediate thoughts on Bottas to Alfa?
I mean, the most surprising bit about that announcement is that it came on a Monday.
Yeah, it was very sudden.
So, I mean, we all knew it was coming. It's
Yeah.
honestly, it's one of the worst kept secrets in motorsport. It's now literally just a waiting game of when a Mercedes going to put the tweet out that says, "We've signed George."
It will be.
And yeah,
We've signed
Yeah,
Latifi.
oh my God, we've signed Lance Stroll as per the request of Villeneuve. So yeah, no, I mean, it's. I think it's a good move for him. Obviously, he's worked with Fred Vasseur before. He won a junior championship with Fred as his team principal there. So I think that was sort of like the deciding factor for him, or rather, what swayed him to join Alfa over, say, Williams. Plus, it's fully escaping the clutches of Mercedes because with Williams, you still have that sort of affiliation, don't you?
Yeah.
With like engine provider, and obviously George is like
Williams
the driver
is
academy
essentially, what you call it, Mercedes C.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it'll be a good thing for him, and I want to say it's his first multi-year contract.
Did he not?
Because he's only ever signed single
years.
years.
Initially signed for Mercedes.
I'm not sure, to be honest, but it's a multi-year contract for a first fun for a long time at
foreseeable
least.
future, they said. Yeah.
My camera's broken, but yes, it's his first multi-year contract.
Nia, I guess it's a good time to come to you. Immediate reaction on Bottas?
I was very happy for him that he's actually probably going to a team where he is number one. He is going to a team where he's number one. And like I said, first multi-year, and just, probably a lot better for him than Mercedes. So basically just echoing what Richard said, really. Also, it was announced Monday. Woo! We actually can talk about it the day it comes out.
I got to go first, so I got to steal all the good points.
Ooh,
any reaction that we haven't already touched on?
I mean, I do have a video from Snapchat that I sent to my friend, but that's quite embarrassing.
We'll leave that one out, I think.
Yeah.
So Ben, what was your immediate reaction on the announcement?
I was like, Bottas confirmed 2022 champion of the world.
This is when Mercedes have an absolute stinker.
Yeah.
You never know. Brawn all over again.
Yeah.
But,
Well, no, it would have to be a new team then.
Here's a quid.
Well,
it should be good for Bottas. It's probably more of a relaxing team to be at, other than Mercedes, because they're obviously fighting for championships and that. Even though back markers still like fighting for every point they can get, Bottas won't have Hamilton as his teammate, so he can
It is worth
just
noting as
enjoy
well,
it more.
we're going into the new era of Formula One next year, so it could shake up the running order quite substantially. We don't know yet. And this year was the first year with new wind tunnel regulations, so the lower down teams have had more to work on their 2022 car than the higher up teams. But then again, the higher working on them since about 2019, so it swings and roundabouts in that respect.
They got to working on them before the budget cap came into effect. So
I found it quite funny. I seen the announcement as I was sitting in a shopping centre in Glasgow surrounded by FIA adverts. It's like they knew big news was coming. They wanted people to know who they were. But no, definitely happy that Bottas is staying in the sport. I think he has more to show. I think he's struggled in the pressure cooker that is Mercedes, and it naturally will be a pressure cooker when you're 7 time in a row world champions going for number 8, which is, well, 7's already unprecedented, never mind 8. So yeah, there'll be no more Valtteri as James.
Valtteri, it's George, it's James.
Please abort the fastest lap attempt. I think the funniest thing there is he did abort the fastest lap attempt and still set the fastest lap.
Didn't he break the record for the track as well?
A new lap record.
Yeah,
Well, because it's the first time we've been there.
Record, yeah.
I realized, oh my God.
Alex, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, like we've said, I think he's done a better job for Mercedes than a lot of people give him credit for. Obviously, the frustrations that he's not been able to match Hamilton of late, but I think if you look at the Red Bull second seat, he's certainly done very well, and he's won a few races over the 5 years, and he's been the perfect teammate. Whether you want to see that as a good thing or a bad thing, he has been the perfect team player. So, but I do think it is the right time to move on, and I think this Alfa Romeo seat is perfect for him as he'll be a team leader in an upcoming team, out of sort of the spotlight of Mercedes, and I think that'll be great for him. We'll see the best of him again.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Yeah, and I think it might be like a Gasly situation, maybe, where just being out of the spotlight brings out the best in him again.
Well, you saw him when he was at Williams getting podiums and stuff. He's not.
That was a very different Williams.
Yeah, but what I mean is he is a very fast driver. There's no doubt about it. He's got pace, and I think that Alpha car is going to pick up quite a few points with him at the wheel.
With a driver that isn't doing this as a hobby.
Yeah. He's
we haven't even touched on that. That news broke Thursday?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Raikkonen's retiring.
I guess we got swept up in the breaking news.
Yeah.
The
breaking news came because of this news.
Exactly. Kimi to retire at the end of the year. I don't think he's leaving Formula One.
I think he's going to be like Jensen or someone, just be like a senior advisor. There's no way he's going to become a pundit.
Yeah, I don't think
no.
Kimi becomes head of press conferences.
And now we head down to the Skypad with Kimi to analyse that lap. Presses play.
There's go around the corner. There's another corner.
Good. So he turned right there. Good.
At a wall. Oh no.
End of lap. Good.
Back to you.
Honestly, it would be hilarious, but it just for all the wrong reasons, really.
I think he will.
He'll
maybe stay at Alpha, or perhaps go back to Ferrari in some capacity.
This is now the first year in God knows how many years that there will be a driver grid where there is not a driver that has won a championship for Ferrari.
Yeah.
Kimi is the last one to do it.
That's because Ferrari haven't won any championships.
But that was back in 2007, and Kimi's just been around since then. So, and obviously before that you had Schumi, and then so it's been a while since we've had a non-Ferrari winning grid.
2008 Constructors Championship. Who was driving for them then? Massa and
Raikkonen, yeah.
It was still Raikkonen, yeah.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, like drivers.
Yeah. Even then, if we look constructor, there's still no one.
Yeah, true.
2008 was the last constructors title.
And they only won that because McLaren were disqualified?
They were disqualified in 2007. I think they just beat them in 2008.
I think because it was Kovalainen in 2008, wasn't it? So,
okay, yeah.
No disrespect to him, but he didn't quite. Obviously, Hamilton only won at that point, didn't he?
Yeah, Hamilton just won the drivers, never mind. Carrying them to the constructors a la 2020 when he had more points than Red Bull. I still think that's mad. One driver finishing with more points than a team.
The bit that makes me sad is the fact that this is the first season I can remember that doesn't have Raikkonen on the grid.
Yeah.
Every year, Raikkonen's been there. Well, obviously, except for when he went off and did rallying in NASCAR, but he's still been around. But now it's just kind of like,
well, this is going to be the first season since I became like a proper follower of the sport rather than just watching it once if it was on the telly because nothing else was. That there's going to be no Kimi, and it'll just be weird. It'll be a bit like when Seb or Lewis retires as well. It's just,
I think this is to me, this is bigger because it's literally from as long as I can remember, like when I was 5 years old tuning in, and there was Raikkonen.
Kimi's been in the sport longer than I've been alive.
So
like my first memory of Formula One was watching the 2007 title decider. So
Sweats in 2001 McLaren West livery.
So like obviously Lewis and Seb winning 4 world titles on the bounce. Lewis probably should have won 7 had the Mercedes not kept blowing up. Yeah. So Kimi will be sorely missed on the grid, but I'm sure he will stay in the paddock.
He might take a break for a bit, like a year out, spend time with the family or something, and then come back.
Just go rallying.
Why not?
Just go rallying, do things for Ferrari. Hello.
She completes the Triple Crown.
Shall we discuss the Dutch Grand Prix?
Yeah, speaking on Kimi, but going on to the Grand Prix, Kimi got COVID as well.
Oh yeah, so Kimi
was
racing.
The only chance he would have had to do the Dutch Grand Prix, he couldn't.
So instead, we had Robert Kubica.
I think there was a stat that like only 2 of the drivers were alive the last time we ran a Dutch Grand Prix or something stupid.
That sounds about right.
And one of them was Raikkonen.
As I say, 1985 was the last Dutch Grand Prix?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely the last race at Zandvoort, unless we went somewhere else.
No, we haven't been anywhere else.
Yeah, it was 1985 in that case was the last race.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't around then.
I definitely wasn't.
Yeah, shall we discuss the Dutch Grand Prix?
Yes. Orange smoke.
1 sentence race review, please, Richard.
It's party time.
This happens every week. How have you forgot?
Because I didn't expect to go first. Again.
Alex,
earlier in the episode.
It was you in my top left.
See, I organise everyone the same way each week, so we have some kind of cohesiveness between the podcasts.
Why am I always first?
Alex, 1 sentence, please.
Not the best race, but made a lot better by the atmosphere.
Nia?
Exciting watching it, but in hindsight wasn't too great. Exciting. It wasn't too exciting.
Simply lovely.
I'm going to be brutally honest. I nearly fell asleep because there was just
a Mercedes fan.
No, I actually quite enjoyed the strategy bit, but there was just not much racing.
Yeah, that was the problem, wasn't it?
It was like watching Monaco again.
But at least there were overtakes.
Yeah, that they didn't show on TV.
They were taking like cues from the Monaco race director. They said that went down so well and captured the world's imagination. So why don't we do exactly the same thing?
I mean, I know it's great that Max Verstappen is lapping 20 seconds in the lead because he's yet to pit and Lewis has, but show me Checo coming through the field, please. Show me something.
Don't need to worry about that, mate. Don't need to worry about that.
And then there was the one thing that was quite interesting to watch that commentary completely ignored was Mazzapin nearly putting Schumacher into the pit lane entry. And they just talk over it like they didn't see it.
It was very reminiscent of his Bahrain moves in F2.
Yeah. How did they get a penalty for pushing him off the circuit? I don't know.
They've given up at this point. I mean, for a start, it doesn't make a difference. And I think they've just given him so many. They're just bored of it.
Yeah, he still retired first.
So.
The race
Yeah.
director does not decide on the penalties.
I don't care. Michael Messi is the scapegoat for me, and he has selective vision, as we've learned in the past. So
He also has a very dysfunctional stopwatch, but we'll come to that at qualifying.
Fair. Shall we go to qualifying? Practice. We talk about practice every week, and really we say the only difference about practice this week was Lewis's car blew up in Q2 and FP2. But it didn't even blow up that badly.
How lucky is that man going to get that his terminal engine problem occurs in a free practice session?
I mean, technically, practice is what, 3 hours long?
Yes.
So it is longer than the race. and they run
qualifying.
Engines, so yeah. But yeah.
And yeah, we don't know what engine it was that blew up, or if it was even the engine that gave way.
That's where they said it won't make him have a penalty.
Yeah, it could have been a hydraulic issue or something, and he just had to stop. So we'll wait and see on that one. But yeah, that was practice. FP1, who stopped in FP1? Oh, Seb. We basically didn't have FP1 because Seb's car blew up.
Oh yeah, and it was an electrical problem, so they couldn't touch the car.
Yes.
Forget Fireman Sam, we had Fireman Seb.
Yeah, exactly. Fireman Seb, and then they brought out some carpets to put on the car.
I would just like to say that what Seb was doing was actually spot on in terms of because the fire extinguisher that the Marshall had was a foam-based one, which you shouldn't use because it's an electrical problem. So you should use a CO2 fire extinguisher, which is what Seb was getting.
Yes.
Because you have, even with foam, you have three main types of fire extinguisher: water, foam, and CO2. Water and foam, you have a risk of the electric current coming back up to the actual fire extinguisher. So you should never use water or foam. Fire extinguishers on an electrical fire, always CO2.
I'm glad it was said.
Fire extinguisher lessons with Richard.
It's not like I've done 8 years worth of fire training at my supermarket job.
If any other driver broke down, there was no way they would know that.
No.
So it's a good job it was him.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder about training though, because if the marshals wandered over and started spraying a foam one and Seb's gone, don't. Seb knows more than the marshal about fire extinguishers, and that's pretty much the marshal's job at that point, isn't it?
Seb knows every single F1 world champion ever. So.
I mean, Seb there's literally nothing Seb can't do at this point. No one can convince me otherwise.
But wouldn't Seb have been told it was an electrical issue? So then he knew.
Yeah, I guess the marshal probably
the marshals
it was
wouldn't
an
have
electrical
known.
problem. They just see a car stopping and Seb with a fire extinguisher, so they just want to help.
Here, have some.
Like the scene from Home Alone where he's just I can't remember what he's holding, like a battery, and then his head just goes.
Yeah.
And then Seb has to stop saving the car to save the marshal. And then we have medical car Seb back at it again.
I found it really funny seeing Seb in full Aston Martin gear getting into the Aston Martin medical car.
I mean,
and that just made me chuckle a little.
Feels right at home, doesn't he?
Yeah. It was good to see the Aston Martin safety cars back. We haven't seen them in a while. Although, as we'll come to in the race, I think for the first time this season, we didn't see the safety car.
Which was surprising, considering what everyone thought was going to happen, and we were all expecting an incident of some description. I think the worst we got was a double waved yellow at turn 3.
I think so.
Yeah, and that was for Seb spinning. Yeah.
Tradition.
Yeah, so qualifying. Let's move on to that. Richard, talk about your stopwatch problem. What happened?
Well, okay, Q1. We should cover Q1 first, because the Haas boys
missed qualifying. So
the Haas boys were idiots.
Oh, I have seen this. Yeah,
they only got no penalty because Seb was just just leave it.
Or last anyway.
Yeah. So, and basically because Mick was so upset about having caused
A problem for
Yeah.
Seb.
Yeah.
He literally said Seb was the last person he wanted to mess up this lap for.
So yeah, that
Just such
happened.
a gem.
And then so it was those two, Kubica, Seb, and Perez.
I'll tell you just now. who
Perez
went out
was
in
Perez went out
Q1.
in Q1 because he was a second too slow to cross the line to start his last flying lap.
So eliminated 20th Mazepin, 19th Schumacher, 18th Kubica, 17th Vettel, and 16th Perez. That was Q1.
So and then we get to Q2 and the double Williams red flag.
What happened there?
Okay,
'Cause
so
I heard about it, but I was like,
George lost it on the way, or at the apex of the corner before the banked final section, and then went off backwards into the barrier and had a nice little tap, but managed to keep the car going, and it was nothing major. Well, okay, it wasn't anything major enough to stop him moving the car, but they did retire him from that point. And then Latifi said, anything you can do, I can do better, and absolutely sent it into turn 7 and just, wrecked the car.
did he say it was a 38G crash on Twitter?
I'm not surprised. It was a hefty whack.
And we got a red flag for a spin about a week after we didn't get a red flag, when every single driver was complaining about aquaplaning and no vision. And yeah, let's not go there again.
So, speaking of Mr. Massey, let's have a look at the stopwatch, shall we? The lap time is 1 minute and 9 seconds. And when the second red flag fell, there was 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. Now I know outlaps are slower, but 21 seconds over a 4-kilometer track, you can get round in 1 minute 30. So Norris was denied a chance to escape Q2 because Massey's an idiot. And because Massey's an idiot last week, Norris missed out on pole. So I'm now convinced, and nobody can tell me otherwise, Massey has a vendetta against Norris.
Wouldn't surprise me, but I mean, to be fair, it's not like me to defend him, but there would have been absolute carnage in the pit lane, wouldn't there?
Oh yeah, but you know, at that point, it's just whoever got into the front of the queue and who got round first, and then it's just, you know, the flag fell. Perez got caught out by the flag. They would have got caught out by the flag. It's just the way it works, isn't it? So Massey has an anti-Norris sentiment confirmed. If it happens again this week, it's just not happening. Like the pit lane gets closed just as Norris gets to the end or something.
Yes, apologies. I had to move location. So where are we?
Michael Massey has an agenda against Norris, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Give me the too long, don't read.
Massey didn't red flag until after Norris had crashed, and Massey didn't restart the session when there was plenty of time to get out on track again in Q2.
How much time was on the stopwatch?
1 minute 30.
Touch and go.
Lap time's 1 minute 9.
Touch and go, but yeah, he probably could have given it a shot and seen what happened.
It would have just been those drivers that were at the front of queue made it round, those behind caught the flag.
I think about one driver would have made it, if you think about how much they back up. And
well, I think the driver at the front probably wouldn't have backed up and gone, let's make it!
And then that one driver probably wouldn't have improved anyway, because they'd have had to...
Yeah, they'd have cooked their tyres. Yeah. So, yeah, it would have been tight to make it to the flag, so I can see why he didn't restart the session in that case.
Still a legendary.
I'll give him that one, but that's a one-off.
Let's see anyone he's ever going to get.
After last week, coincidences don't happen. Nothing is an accident.
I'm so disappointed I wasn't here for the absolute roasting of him last week, by the way.
that was.
Did you listen to it, Alex?
Yes, I did. Yeah. I was very upset I missed that one.
That episode had you written all over it.
Yeah, you knew my opinions anyway from the chat, but
I think we all expressed pretty similar opinions, to be honest.
Yeah, we were just channeling you through us.
Yeah.
So, shall we talk about the race? Wait, no.
Q3.
I thought we'd done Q3. You
No,
just
that was
said you had.
Q2. That was Q2.
Max took pole. Moving on.
Max takes pole, doesn't even have to open his DRS on the last straight.
Yeah.
Absolute Chad energy.
Well done to Max taking pole at his home race. Very tight, 0.038.
No DRS.
With no DRS.
Yeah, Giovinazzi P7 as well.
Yeah.
How has he done that?
So
And Gasly P4 as well.
Yeah, I mean, that flew under the radar the whole weekend. I didn't see him on broadcast at all.
Yeah.
Oh, Gasly just drove round.
Gasly emulated Carlos Sainz in Brazil.
The only time I saw Gasly was when he was getting lapped, because I seen him behind the Mercedes with his DRS open. I'm like, he's not that close to any of them.
Speed.
Oh. So the qualifying classification was this, because nobody got penalties, so the provisional classification was the final classification. Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas, Gasly, Leclerc, Sainz, Giovinazzi, Ocon, Alonso, Ricardo, Russell, Stroll, Norris, Latifi, Tsunoda, Perez, Vettel, Kubica, Schumacher, Mazepin. 20 cars, 20 places. However, 20 cars did not start the race on the grid. We only had 18. Sergio Perez took about a 60-place grid penalty for
proper
changing
channeling
his car up.
Proper channeling the the F1 game career mode there. Take every component penalty at once.
So let me just open up this document from Joe Bauer, the technical delegate. Sergio Perez changed his ICE to one above the allowed amount.
So that's his fourth.
Turbocharger to his fourth. The MGU-H, the MGU-K, H being heat, K being kinetic, for those who are not sure. MGU motor generator unit, it's basically what powers their ERS. The energy store, which is what stores their ERS.
The big battery.
Control electronics, that's what lets the FIA tell you if you're allowed to open your DRS. And other such things in the car. See, I think this is a mistake because Sergio hasn't had any penalties before now. So, or at least no engine penalties, I don't think.
Did he take the... Oh, I don't know.
I knew you could spot a mistake in a steward's document.
Yeah.
I think it's a mistake. I'm not sure. I'll double check that, but I think it's a mistake. I'll get back to you next week. And then
what a riveting story.
For everyone
because it was a new energy store, he went into the pit lane rather than the back of the grid. And Latifi decided to get a new front wing, which was a different spec, and a new gearbox.
Understandably, given the size of the crash he had.
Yes.
He completely trashed that car.
Did we have any other I don't think we had any other penalties, so that was the final starting grid, with those two being punted to the pit lane. Oh no, it's sorry.
Oh, no. Anyway.
Oh no. Anyway. Yeah, no, that was it. They just put twice.
So it was literally just an "oh no" anyway moment.
Oh
Yes.
no.
Wait.
They
listed Latifi and Perez twice, so I thought more drivers had penalties. They did not.
More mistakes.
Yeah. To the race.
So I just want to say, I can imagine Chris just at the end of the year just writing a note of all the mistakes in the steward's document, just emailing
FIA. Put it on his CV. This is why I deserve a job.
Just email it to Michael Massey. Just here's where you went wrong.
Here's my review of your steward documents this year. Here's where you can improve.
In an FIA shirt, turning up to the podcast, then you wouldn't be able to slate the stewards.
Which is like you.
Watch me. Tram
But there goes your potential media passes.
I want to work in media anyway, so.
What is this, Nia? This is media.
Yeah,
No,
we
I-
don't get paid, so can we count it as a job?
I'm not
It's a hobby.
applying-
It's more of a hobby for me.
It's more of a hobby for me, so.
Yeah, I'm not applying to work for the FIA, so you don't need to worry.
I don't have to do it if I don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah, the race.
Literally doesn't turn up for the next one.
Yeah. I'll just go now.
Yeah, I just don't turn up next week. Otherwise, be serious.
The race. That's why we're here. To discuss the race. So let's talk about it. Lap 1. Nothing happened.
What?
Apart from a light.
Alpines?
Yeah. A light coming together between Giovinazzi and someone else.
I think.
And the Alpines gained a couple of positions.
The Alpines came together
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They
on the
touched
way
as well.
into turn 2. And then Alonso went yeet around the top of turn 3, which was quite satisfying to watch and rather amusing on commentary afterwards, because I think it was Jensen said that after all weekend and everyone taking the high line because they decided that was the best line, suddenly everyone in the race takes the low line. And then Alonso says, "Thank you very much," and sweeps round. So
Yeah, exactly.
He's just unbelievable at starts, Alonso. He will.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, every single race, you just hear him gaining like 3 or 4 places, I swear.
He's literally the Giovinazzi of this season.
yeah. Thanks for the Giovinazzi clause for last week, by the way. You put a massive jinx on that and put Giovinazzi so high up he'd never gain 5 positions.
Oh, yeah.
Sergio Perez coming in clutch.
Mm. But I can't actually remember what I said. What was the clause that I...
It's because I said a driver would go up 5 positions, at least 5 positions in the race.
Oh,
And you
yeah.
said, "Oh, that's the Giovinazzi."
Yeah.
So
That's what he does on lap 1.
yeah.
And then he qualifies 7th.
I mean, fair play. It was great
Yeah.
qualifying from him. Then we had the Haas altercation.
Yeah.
And apparently Mick has come out and said that he believes that the relationship between teammates is at this stage beyond repair.
Mm.
That team is just such a mess. It's unbelievable. I mean,
That's what
fair,
happens
it
when
happened
you
with
take
Grosjean
all
and
the
Magnussen.
money.
Yeah. It happened with Grosjean and Magnussen, didn't it? But then obviously they were, I think, mature enough to,
No,
they just
Sit down, talk it out, and sort it out.
And they were decent
And they did.
drivers.
Yeah, and they could drive, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing
But
gets
Both,
Mick, but like,
both of them were decent drivers.
yeah,
Now there's
Nothing
only
that-
one decent driver.
nothing
Well,
gets
even
Mick.
that is-
Yeah, Mick's good. Mick's talented. And then
You,
there's
you don't
Mazzapin.
win an F2 World Championship without having some
Yeah.
form of talent.
Speaking of
Um,
Mazzapin, I just want to hop on Will Buxton's tweet, which I just want to tell him for a bit. He said, "Feel like it's getting way too easy and way too frequent to dump on Mazzapin. I wonder why. He has shown increased pace and performance at getting new chassis, was justified with both qualifying frustration and defending his position in the race, which he did without the need for investigation." Do you think Will knows there's another reason why people are shitting on him?
I think
Perhaps
he does,
maybe-
but he's probably, because he's under contract from F1.
True,
Yeah.
So,
And I think
but there was no.
in fairness, Will slated him on his YouTube channel and
He
stuff.
did, yeah.
But he did say that we have to separate off and
Yeah.
on track. So that's what he's maintaining his own point of view of the on track and
On
off
track,
track
yeah.
is separate.
But
in
he's
terms of
saying
on
like,
track, yeah,
yeah,
I
like
guess.
in terms of one track, he's not any better.
And
He,
he has improved since the start of this.
he
I
has
will be
yeah.
honest.
improved. He has improved like in some bits, but in other bits, he's just like,
Yeah, there is still bits that he's lacking, but there's no doubt about it. He has got better.
yeah, he has got better, but he's still a
Like
twat.
he's driven for longer than 30 seconds, which is what he managed in Bahrain.
True.
the only way was up from there, let's be
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
I mean,
I still
guess,
don't
yeah.
think he's outqualified Mick once this season. but-
Technically, he has twice, but those are the 2 qualifying sessions that Mick hasn't been in because Mick crashed in FP3.
Yeah.
So, he has, but he hasn't. Well,
But
yes,
outqualified them on pace.
but actually, no.
Yeah, on pace, absolutely not.
No,
I
definitely
mean,
not.
I guess some people
And he
people
was
are sometimes quick to jump on him. Like, for instance, the qualifying thing. That was probably equally Mick's fault, if not more, for overtaking him.
We don't know the inside story there. Apparently, Mick was told, just get on with it.
But I mean, in some
I
in some
have
cases,
heard
people
the
do.
team radio where Mick was just told, yeah, just pass him.
I mean, yeah, in some cases, people do jump on Mazzapin's back, but you bring that reputation on yourself.
Yeah.
And that's without going into obviously what he did off.
I think it is worth remembering, though, how much of a box that Haas is. Like, Schumacher still finished 3 laps. Schumacher still finished behind George Russell, and George Russell didn't finish.
Where have we seen that before? Oh, yes, Imola, Sebastian Vettel.
So, yeah, the Haas is still undrivable. There was Roman Grosjean or Kevin Magnussen at the other Haas.
I still think they should have kept, at the end of the season, they should have kept Kevin in the seat and brought Mick in as well. But obviously, cash is king.
They needed the money, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Haas wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Nikita
True.
coming back in.
True. But I also feel like they might have gotten a few more sponsors had they not brought in Mazzapin.
And they wouldn't have to race in a literal Russian flag.
Yes.
I wonder if the FIA are still investigating that. They announced that they were and then just went a bit quiet.
Complete radio silence, yeah.
Yeah, we've never heard the outcome of that investigation. Yeah, so the Haas's, only one of the Haas's finished. Mazzapin pulled into the pits and just parked.
Went home, good.
Every other driver breathed a sigh of relief. They wouldn't have to lap him. Well, I guess that is another thing. He's become a bit more respectful of blue flags since Portimao.
He's learnt what the colour blue means.
It's not just a bit of the team's livery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a meaning when it's flashed at you on the side of the racetrack.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just go Haas, come on. Thanks for showing up.
You can do it.
Hey, Haas. Yeah. And then Mick finished 17th. 18th?
Mick finished 18th, yeah.
Behind the did not finish of George Russell. Poor Haas. Russell DNF'd on lap 70. Also at that end of the race, we had Valtteri, please do not set the fastest lap. Valtteri eases off, sets the fastest lap anyway.
James, it's Valtteri. You.
Well, in fairness, Valtteri did try. And
yeah, I know. It was hilarious, though. It was just...
Because the mini sectors, I think, were all purple. And then there was a few yellow ones at the end, but he just couldn't slow down enough. But then Lewis went and blew the lap out the water with a 1:11.0.
I think that whole situation just epitomises what a mess Mercedes strategies have been.
It's just a mess the team situation is.
Yeah, well, pretty much since Spain. They had that one good call, didn't they? With the doing the 2-stop. And ever since then, it's just been bad call after bad call. And that's going to, in such a close championship, that's going to make the difference, isn't it?
I think they gave the one-stop shot. It was worth a try doing a contra strategy between the teammates. And then knowing they had that much space, they did say this is just a precautionary pit stop. It wasn't for fastest lap or anything. It was just so Bottas' tire didn't go pop and cost them the podium.
Yeah, because he had reported vibrations earlier on in the race. So
it was purely a precautionary pit stop. And when you're a lap ahead of the car behind, you can afford to do that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the big mess up was bringing Hamilton out into traffic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a muck up.
I mean, they could have pitted earlier when he was close to Verstappen.
They could have pitted earlier or just waited a lap.
Or waited one lap, which would have been enough to clear the traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just Mercedes all over in the last few races, to be honest. Isn't it?
Yeah, they've not had a good run at it.
Mm.
And Max retook the lead of the championship. I won't lie, I'm still a little annoyed about Belgium that he got a free 4 points. on the championship battle, but it is what it is. They're not going to change their mind now. So he now leads the championship by 4 points. 3 points. Oh, even better. Easy enough to retake the lead in Monza. That's what they were saying in comms. Monza is going to be very different from last weekend because it's a totally different circuit. And you can actually overtake at Monza.
Got the return of sprint qualifying.
Yes, but we will come to that.
Just
Anything else
adds
you
an
want to
extra
say
spanner.
Wait,
about the
where's the?
race?
I'm just gonna ask, where's the third sprint qualifying happening?
Rumored
We
to be
have no
Brazil.
idea,
Or
but
was it? Okay.
probably
I thought I
Brazil.
heard Jeddah
If we
it might
go
be.
to Brazil,
Yeah, I was
Hmm.
gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe then.
Saudi Arabia.
Great.
Oh, wait, no. Abu Dhabi. Have an extra hour of snooze fest.
we're getting new Abu Dhabi.
No, this is true. This is true. So,
Don't know if it'll be a snooze fest yet. We'll find
potential
out on,
snooze fest.
we'll
Most
find out on the
likely.
Friday because we'll see how quickly they can go around the track. But
And we'll cry.
Then we'll cry. Yeah, I'm looking forward to New Abu Dhabi. I think it might be fun.
Yeah.
But we'll
Anything's
talk about
better
that.
than old Abu Dhabi, right?
We'll talk about that in 3 months. We're getting a bit
Right?
ahead of us. This
We're
isn't
really
the
that
Monaco.
close.
This isn't the Monaco episode where we can just talk about Singapore.
We actually have content this week.
Yeah. Anything else anyone wants to touch on in the race?
AWS.
Oh
a
yeah, the
joke.
tire
God, yeah.
graphics.
18 lap hards for Verstappen, and it's 10%. What?
When everyone in comms all weekend was saying, like, yeah, the tires aren't really degrading.
Yeah.
AWS,
On hard, yeah. Like,
don't think you understand that, big man.
I really want to know what data AWS crunches to get those numbers.
Mate, the overtaking difficulty of like 0.1 actually turned
Yeah.
out to be correct, though. Bottas
Like-
didn't really hold him up, let's be honest.
The striking distance, most of the graphics are very good and accurate. And then there's the tire data one.
The striking distance is meh, because they literally take it off like the difference between the previous lap of those two drivers. And
They
that
normally get it
doesn't matter
relatively
if one
accurate,
of
though.
them's been through traffic or whatever, which
Like-
often throws a spanner in it, especially at
It's-
Zandvoort.
It's
So-
usually 1 or 2 laps out though when it.
It's
when they
it's
do use it.
reasonable. It's
Yeah.
damn sight closer than the tire graphics.
I think the only one that's massively off is the tire graphic.
Yeah.
Also, for me, when they compare drivers, you see like qualifying 8.8.
Yeah, I want to
Oh,
know how
wow.
they get those numbers.
Yeah.
The-
What
man.
qualifies as 8.8? What qualifies as 9? What's 6? It's like
Yeah. The one where you get like in a free practice session and it's like expected qualifying result and there's like unexpected result, and it's like you've literally just taken the times everyone's done in this session on the soft tire and then shaved a little bit of time off and gone, job's good.
No, I think they have explained about how that one works. They take into account their sector times, the track conditions, expected fuel loads and things, because that's how there can be a bit of swapping in positions. And
Yeah.
like somebody who finishes P4 then ends up like P16 in the qualifying graphic. But that one's quite interesting to look at because
I
it does
think-
take into account the different conditions.
I think my favorite graphic from them is probably the corner analysis one that they've got, where you show two different drivers' speed traces through a corner, and you can see where they brake and how much speed they take off, how much speed they carry through a corner, and when they get back on the power. That for me is a brilliant graphic, because it's just 100% pure facts rather
Yeah.
than here's some data that we've analyzed and produced something.
I quite like the pit strategy battle ones where it takes into account the time delta to make you not have to do maths.
But so often the problem is so often that it's a one stop and it's like medium to hard and you pit on this lap, or soft to hard and you've pit a lap earlier.
Yeah. Oh no, not
I want more
the one before the
stops.
race.
Oh, okay.
Say the one during the race when it's the car behind pitted. And it's like, this car yet to pit, chance of overtake.
Yeah.
And it crunches those numbers, so you don't have to. I do quite like that one. And the one we're going to need to get used to seeing is the fastest pit stop of the season, because that will not change with the new technical directive. No one will pull out a 1.87.
Nope. Thanks, FIA, for killing pit stops.
Mercedes still pulled out a 2.2 at the weekend, though, so they're not slow by any means.
No,
They're
Red
just
Bull pulled
not
out a 2.1, didn't they?
I'm not sure. Let's check.
They're just not as fast.
No, because there's now a built-in delay.
Albeit it's what, like a 10th?
Yeah, but still, when you're talking about 2 seconds, a tenth is like 5% of your time.
2.15. So they were 0.003 faster than Mercedes with a 2.18. And round 12 just doesn't exist on this. Can't the championship standings do that?
No.
No, we had a race, guys. Don't you know? We had a race. I love that even commentary calls them out on that. It's like that wasn't a race.
I found it quite funny that I think it was Ted that ended up using the sort of like the Veloce term of not the Belgian GP.
Yeah, not the GP, yeah.
So yeah, Veloce taking over title sponsorship of Belgium next year.
Yeah. Shall we discuss Monza?
Well, I mean, I've got all of our predictions to analyze. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
There's been some more on Discord as well. I've been recording.
Yeah, I've got those down.
Yeah, and I've got some from a group chat that I will share with you when we get to that point.
Good.
I'll just check if Sophie's replied. I doubt it, but
Still
Yeah,
got
Sophie
some reply to me.
no.
Sophie was doing Instagram questions, and I decided to send in, can we get your predictions for this weekend?
But we did get a shout out.
We did get a shout out.
We did get a shout out. So
yeah,
I think it was Ben that sent that in. So thanks.
Yeah, shameless plug.
Yeah.
Always go for it. I did not expect it one bit. As soon as I seen it, I just couldn't stop laughing.
She did just say that Russell is the best driver in F1, though, if all cars were equal.
She's a Lando fan.
Hot take.
Yeah, I rate it.
Yeah. The question was on pure racing ability. Who would you say is the best driver on the grid? Or who would be the best if all cars were equal? Russell. Fair enough. So Richard, our predictions, please, and points.
In last place,
Me.
it's Chris. What a shock. Yeah, where's your glass, Chris? Raise that for traditions. Right, and then in joint second place.
Am I not getting my score?
Oh, you got 6 points.
The outrage of that.
Congratulations for saying that Bottas would come third, and that Verstappen would get pole, but you put Hamilton and Verstappen the wrong way around. So you were so close, so close.
So close, but yet so far.
And then in joint second with 7 points is Ben, Nia, myself, and Sonia. And in first place, with a full house of 16 points, is Alex.
I mean, so much for my cursed predictions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was so obvious that Max was going to win. I normally put Hamilton, but it just had to be. It was a no-brainer.
It means that you've jumped 2 places since after the Belgium was added on. So you're now in third. Nia had a bit of a dip. No, I'm not doing half points for Belgium. No, I can't be asked for that. Nia had a bit of a dip before Belgium. You were down in fifth. Then Belgium bumped you back up to third. But now you're down in fourth. Ben is in fifth. I am in the lead by 1 point with Sonia in second. And that's
How
that's,
close
that's
is
just-
Chris to me?
Not close at all.
Yeah, you're all right, mate. You could probably take a week off.
Get it.
I think that's because I did take a week off. That
Yeah.
didn't help.
Yeah, you're 7
Yeah.
points shy. You're 7
Well-
points off the back of the pack.
I mean, if I pull out a perfect prediction weekend, that would close it right up.
Yeah.
If miracles can happen.
I've never done it yet, but I could.
How many perfect weekends have we had?
I think I've had one.
Sonia had one, I've had one, Ben's had one, and now Alex has had one.
So everyone bar me and you, Nia.
And
Yeah.
I think
We're doing great.
I think Alex is the only one that's had it since we added
Pole.
pole position. So, but I mean, I haven't added that into like an extra bonus point. It's just you still get the 1 point for
Yeah.
pole. So it's 15 points for the podium. That's a big enough bonus. So, and then we have Mazzapindingo Results. It's
I
a
don't think-
5-way draw.
I was going to say, wasn't I the only one to say would not finish?
Yeah, so you got a point for that, but you don't get a point because you said he wouldn't be lapped before.
Yeah, because I said he was going to DNF on lap 1.
Yeah.
I think.
And obviously, therefore, he hasn't finished a number of laps down. So you only got
Yeah.
the point for he DNF'd. Nia was the closest with lap 25. He got lapped on lap 20. And he he pulled into the garage on lap 42. Well, his lap 42. It was lap 44 on the actual graphic. So he finished 2 laps down. So Alex, Ben, and myself all got a point for that. So it's a 5-way tie.
Wait, do we give it a point for the closest to when he gets lapped? I thought it was only if you got it right.
No, it's usually the closest.
It's usually just the closest. There's like the tiebreaker. Like if you both have the same number of laps down and he finished, then closest lap wins it. So you know, it's not exactly a rigorous.
Bold predictions.
Only 2 people did not have theirs come off this week. And that's you and you.
See, I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
How
I
names?
know.
Yeah.
Chris and Chris and Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
So
can't even remember my bold prediction.
yours was that Verstappen was spin in turn 1.
Spin.
So you had the wrong driver and you were 2 corners short. Unlucky. Alex said that Perez would get no points after
mean,
qualifying. You
That
were
was almost a really good one, but fine.
Perez got 1
Lucky.
point.
It's still a point. That's all it
He
needs.
got 2 points then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. He overtook
Oh, did they finish 9th? I
Yeah,
thought
he finished
ninth.
9th.
Yeah,
8th. Oh god.
eighth.
Is that not 4
Yeah.
points?
You got 4
That's 4 points.
Oh god. And then Nia said Hamilton, Verstappen, or a teammate crash. And we've had 2 teammates colliding twice. The Alpines came together on lap 1 and the Hasses. So
No, the Hasses didn't actually touch, I don't think.
well, I don't know.
Alpines did. Alpines did.
The Alpines definitely
Alpines
did.
did, yeah.
There's
I'm
no
taking it.
disputing that. So
That's what we forgot about in the race. Lando and Perez's incident on like lap 70 or something.
McLaren were just nowhere in general.
Yeah, they were really like
Whereas Ferrari,
they were like really Daniel. Like that's not the right word, but I can't be able to think of a better one. They were like really on his strategy.
Valtteri, it's James.
Please
B
abort
team.
the fastest lap.
Yeah, I was just like,
Please hold up Checo.
yeah, it's like they were really did not do great for Daniel that race.
But to be
Yes.
fair, when Lando came out of his pit stop right behind Daniel, you think, well, obviously you've got to let him through because he's on
Yeah.
such fresher tires.
Mm.
Like the difference was like what 15, 20 laps at that point or something daft.
But wasn't Daniel saying like I'm really vulnerable in this position, and then they just didn't do anything about it.
it was just one of those races you didn't want to start 10th.
Yeah,
We almost had to abort the start because he couldn't put it in gear. So
Mm.
that was a bit of an interesting one that I missed because he was like waving out the car like help, and finally
Yeah,
managed to get
that's
it
the
into gear.
signal to
Abort.
race. Yeah, race control. Don't go, please.
But they did anyway. Michael Massey.
His
So yeah.
agenda
Yellow-
against McLaren carries on.
And no, that's not Michael Massey's fault. That's actually the marshal that stands beside Daniel's car's fault.
Oh,
because as soon as Daniel's hand should have popped up, the yellow flag should have flew.
Michael Massey's
But there was
fault.
no yellow flag, so it's the marshal's fault.
ultimately, it falls to Michael Massey. It's his responsibility
Definitely
that the
Michael
race is
Massey's
run properly. So,
He's sitting in race control looking down the grid.
I don't care. It's his
So?
fault.
Yeah. his
Where
fault.
was Ricardo?
he's the boss.
We don't know the steward's name, so
Ultimately-
it's Michael Massey's fault.
Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the highest person. So
Yeah.
it's Michael Massey's fault, and it's again against McLaren. So he needs to go. He has bias.
Okay, then.
It's
He's
not us who are biased. It's him.
It's him.
100%. This is not sponsored by McLaren. I really wish it was.
Yeah, the money would be great.
It's not sponsored by McLaren.
No,
And
not
he didn't
sponsored
give
at
McLaren.
all.
McLaren, do you want to hit us up?
Yeah, not
Please-
not sponsored.
Please, McLaren, slide in my DMs. Any platform, I don't care. Zach Brown, do it. Hit me up. Invite me to the
Hey,
NPC.
Rich.
Yeah, we actually were going to talk about Lando driving into Sergio a moment ago.
Were we?
Nah.
Yeah.
Actually, and Michael Massey didn't give him a penalty for that.
Didn't see it.
There wasn't even an investigation.
Not that
Or
bad.
at least there was no on-screen confirmed investigation.
There probably wasn't investigation then.
Yeah. Well, in fact, it happened that late in the race. They might not have decided to investigate it. 'Cause it's usually race control noted. Under investigation, time penalty. There was one time penalty. George Russell went a
Oh,
bit
speeding in the pit
fast
lane.
in the pit lane. Let's play penalty points bingo. How many points do you think he got?
One.
If he didn't
Two.
get 2,
I'm going
So
one.
Richard's going 2,
I'm going 1.
Yeah, I'll
going
go
1, Alex 1, Ben.
wait, hang on, wait. How much faster?
That is true.
That's true.
How's that
1.1
It doesn't make a
kilometers
difference,
per
does it?
hour.
1.
valid? 10.
Well, I
Penalty
mean-
points. Race ban.
I mean, I would give 1, but
Hmm.
this is Michael Massey. So
Yeah,
it could be-
Hang on, Antonio Giovinazzi's calling. He's just gone 38 miles an hour faster in the pit lane. He's literally doubled the speed limit. He's got off scot-free. So yeah, go on, Chris.
None. No penalty points.
He
Rate
didn't
that.
didn't get any either, did he? So
Yeah, no, and Giovinazzi was
Okay,
like
yeah.
25 kilometers an hour faster.
Didn't Giovinazzi get like a 10-second stop-go penalty or something, though?
But no
and
penalty
no
points.
penalty point. I mean, we
Yeah.
covered this at length, didn't we?
What
In-
race was it?
Here we
again?
go again.
That was Hungary.
Hungary. Car 99, pit lane speeding. There we go. Yeah, 25.6 kilometers per hour, 10-second stop, no penalty points.
Imagine if he sped doing the stop and go as well.
That would be
I
amazing.
remember Maldonado doing that. He got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and then got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane while serving his penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
And there was Yuki Tsunoda as well, crossing the white line
Yeah.
twice
Yeah.
in the same race. But yeah, so that was the only 5-second time penalty issued during the race. He served that and then came in and retired the next lap anyway.
Yeah, there was a gearbox issue.
Yeah, I think so. But because he retired, it means that they can take a new gearbox at the next event for free.
Bonus. Actually, speaking of taking stuff and not having to take penalties and such, Red Bull electing to give Perez an entirely new allocation of parts is very shrewd, considering he was only losing 5 places, but now he has an extra set of everything in the pool.
Yes.
So I don't think he'll have to take a penalty for the rest of the season now,
Yeah, he should.
barring
Probably
any
not.
incidents, obviously.
Yeah, unless another engine blows up.
Yeah, but
We were talking about this off air. I don't understand how it works anyway, because if you qualify last, why wouldn't you just take a new component? I mean, it costs, but you'd do it
Yeah,
anyway, wouldn't
costs.
you? At least once to get one new set of everything. But this is the thing. Obviously, talking about Italy, that's kind of been the assumption. That's when they're going to take Verstappen's penalty, isn't it? So
So you need to cycle through all the available ones first, and then if you take anything else after that, then you start getting penalised.
so it's only
No.
because he's actually used all of the parts previously that he
Yes.
can take it. Right, okay.
Oh, so
Um,
basically co-passes are wrong, is what you're telling me, because on the game you can just.
Yes.
Shock.
Oh, who would have thought co-passes are wrong?
Shock horror. Codemasters are wrong. Whoa.
Yeah, that is wrong. You can't just, because you need to actually have installed them on your car for them to count.
Okay.
That's why there's a document issued at the start of every weekend, new PU elements for this event. And it's just keeping tally of what everyone's used.
Same as the Gearbox one, isn't it?
Yeah. Because that needs to run for 6 consecutive events before you take another one. If you take another one before that, 5 place grid penalty.
And 3
10.
penalty points.
3 penalty points. How dare you? Yeah, so you do need to cycle through them all. You get a set allocation of each part.
That makes sense.
There was discussion. Obviously, Perez has basically got off scot-free there. There was discussion of that changing at one point. I don't know if they took it anywhere because they felt it was quite unfair that you could get like a 60-place grid penalty, serve it in one go. You've only taken 5 places, leaving
Start a lap down.
55 grid penalties that you didn't take.
So when everyone takes the inevitable 70-place grid penalty at Monza, are we having them start at Ascari?
No, I think there was.
How do they know when the
discussion of
lights go out?
They just see the other cars pass. Well, the race is gone.
Race has started. The race, go, go.
There was discussions of it rolling over into the next event.
I feel that's harsh.
I don't think it went anywhere.
I don't think
They
that
get a
ever
grid
would.
penalty up to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
because
'cause-
had to take 60 places.
Well, yeah, think about it. If
It
you
could take 10, it'd still be the same. But
Yeah, if you had like a massive shunt and your entire engine was written off completely, gearbox as well, you're looking at a 70, 80 place grid penalty. And if you can only take 5 because you're in a boat of a Williams or a Haas or an Alpha, then that one set of penalties is going to last you like 14 races.
Yeah.
It's just, no, that wouldn't be fair. If you had that, say you
I
had
think it was
that
because
massive
they
crash
felt-
at like what was round 6? That was say you absolutely destroyed it in Monaco and you ended up in the harbour and it was gone. You never got the car back.
drowned.
You'd literally be last for the rest of the
Then
season.
we would be on to the stewards about something.
Yeah.
But you'd literally be last for the rest of the season unless you get a fluky Giovinazzi incident and you end up 7th and then you shorten it by like 2 races because you'd get 7th and then still have to start last on that set softs.
Yeah, it was just discussion. It was a few seasons ago as well. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm pretty sure it was a rollover. I think it was maybe just to the next event. Because it was felt it was a bit unfair that the top teams could take an entire new engine, drive past everyone else, and basically not have a penalty. Like they would still end up finishing on the podium.
They'd probably just do that in 2 races instead of 1 if they carried over. So,
But
Dems the brakes.
Make your car faster then.
just go fast.
Yeah.
I don't see what the problem is. Go
Just be
fast.
better at the sport.
Reminds me of the team radio of Jan Deruvler from Silverstone.
Just
Can
drive
I get a race update?
drive
Just drive fast.
Monza.
Yes.
The F1
Oh.
fans thing.
We
Ooh.
do normally talk about the support races, but we're just going to give some breaking news from one of the support races. Formula 3 is not going to the Circuit of the Americas. Formula 3 is instead going with Formula 2 to the Sochi Autodrome.
Them poor people.
Also,
I actually
I now have
slightly
to watch
disagree with you
more
there, Ben,
cars go round the boring circuit.
But you,
because Formula 2 and Formula 3 somehow serve up good races at Sochi.
yeah,
It's
but
just
equal
Formula
chassis.
1 that can.
you would rather drive at Austin than Sochi.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So,
But at least it'll be good racing. It's not like Formula 1's having 2 rounds at Sochi.
I'd rather drive round a car park than Sochi.
It's okay. There's only one more year.
let's go
We're
to
going
France
somewhere else
again.
next year.
Igora Drive.
We're going somewhere
St.
else.
Petersburg. Going
So-
to another circuit that's going to produce exactly the same racing.
No need to panic. We might be pleasantly surprised next year.
If you want to
And-
have a look at the circuit that we'll be going to, review it in our Dream Circuits and Calendars episode. because actually we did bring it up.
I
So,
would like to say France was good this year.
yes, that's why I said a car park and not
Oh,
Paul Ricard.
So if
Even though they
France
are
was-
one and the same.
if France was good this year, maybe Sochi will be good.
Look, don't get your hopes up, mate.
Or we should just drive at car parks.
Melbourne Park.
Street circuits.
Yeah.
I did design one to go around my hometown, which
Um,
would be hilarious because
A car park
potholes.
or a racetrack.
A racetrack, a car park around my entire town. Yeah, nice.
and we're going to Sochi in 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, there's the whole calendar rejig, isn't there? Because nothing's replacing Japan, so they've just moved everything instead, and mess.
Well,
Speaking
we would
of-
still have been going to Sochi in 3 weeks anyway.
Yeah, it's just like things have moved a week earlier or later after that, and there's no like triple header. It's now one on, one off, one on, one off. So it's
Formula 3 said it was due to logistical costs that would have made it unfeasible for the teams that they've decided to move, but they do want to race at Kota in the future.
transatlantic.
And because obviously Formula 2 is already there, most of the paddock will be there, so it will just make it slightly easier.
Is W Series still going to Kota?
Maybe.
At the moment, they've not said anything.
Keep an eye on that one.
So
Did-
they may be the only support series at Circuit of the Americas.
Just going back to Formula 3, wasn't there news on Enzo Fittipaldi moving to Formula 2? Was it?
Yes, he's
He
been
moved to
promoted
Yeah, he moved to Formula 2.
and will be racing this weekend in Monza.
I think so.
We have support races in Monza.
Yes.
Monza. But
Okay.
he's Fittipaldi's replacing Beckman at Shuru's racing system.
I'm looking at the timetable for this weekend.
Mm.
Formula 1 qualifying straight after Formula 2 qualifying is so strange to see.
Well, we've had it before.
It once.
Yeah, we've still had it before.
It's still weird.
Traditions.
Tell me it's not. Tell
No.
me it's not going to be strange watching qualifying on a Friday,
No.
What time
Followed-
does it start for us?
followed by FP2.
Quali is 5 till 6.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was about to say
Is that
6
the
7, but remember that was Italian time.
Yes.
Yes.
wait? So what's happening on Friday on our times?
So
FP1
Friday
and quali.
we have FP1 and quali. Saturday we have
What time's FP1?
FP1 is at 1:30 till 2:30.
Okay, I'm in college. I'm just trying to work out what I'm watching now.
Everything.
I wish
Record it.
I can't.
Just watch the live timing.
Oh, it's Friday. Oh, we don't do anything on Friday. I got Sky Go. It's fine.
We've got a lot of
turn-
support races on.
The Turn 5 podcast does not promote not paying attention in college. We think everyone should work hard and do their best.
It's just tutor time. It's fine. We're not actually doing any work.
But yeah, no, there's 3 support series and Monza with us. We've got
what
the
time's
Porsche Mobile Super Cup, which replaced the Belgian Grand Prix. So really a highlight of your weekend there. And we have the Sports Prototype Cup as well as FIA Formula 2.
what's
next
the,
week, We
our
will
time?
only be talking about FIA Formula 2.
What are the times for F2 our time on Friday?
I'm just going to send you the link to the
Please do.
timetable.
Practice
because
is 20 past 11 their
I-
time.
I always
Subtract an hour from everything.
Okay, because different time zones, I'm just like,
All you have to do is subtract an hour.
okay.
So predictions, Monza, Richard.
Hamilton. Ugh.
Ben.
Lando.
Ben.
So this is a sprint, right?
It's not raining, so it can't be Lando.
McLaren
McLaren's
straight
got
line pace.
speed.
It's got a Mercedes engine up its
yeah.
bum now, so
Alex.
Right, hang on. I need some time to think about this.
Paul,
So-
remember, is the winner of the sprint.
The sprint, right? It depends if Red Bull take the penalty for Verstappen.
no, because that gets applied after
So
qualifying
does it get
results.
applied?
So that'll be
And then
for the
how
Grand
many
Prix on
places is it
Sunday.
gonna take? Is it going to be 10? Is it going to be 60?
I
don't
think
know.
it's a whole new engine. They've said it'll be 60.
Okay.
So it'll be starting from
honest.
the back of the grid.
Right. I'm going to.
And we only want your pole
Yeah,
position.
Hamilton.
Nia,
Doesn't
pole.
Hamilton.
And I shall also go Hamilton. This is Monza. We are having sprint qualifying. There are extra points. Nia, Speed King. Who will it be?
Which one?
Who tops the timings on during actual qualifying?
Hamilton.
Alex, who will be the Speed King?
Hamilton.
Ben?
Lando.
Are you trying to lose positions?
To be fair, I
He's
remember
trying
earlier
to
in the
give you
year-
a chance.
I remember
He's
earlier in the
being
year people
nice.
saying, "Oh, McLaren might win Monza," so you never know.
I've got to stick to my word.
Richard, Speed King?
Verstappen.
And I'm going Hamilton for Speed King. And finally, podium predictions. Ben, let me guess, is Lando going to win the
No.
Grand Prix?
I wish. I've got a Hamilton, Lando, Verstappen.
Nia,
Hamilton, Verstappen, nice.
Alex,
To be honest, I still back Verstappen from last to finish on the podium at least. So Hamilton, Bottas, Verstappen.
the 2020 special.
Yeah.
I'm going there as well, but that's just because I think the Mercedes will be faster this weekend. And Richard, podium.
Verhambot.
Verhambot. So we forgot to ask social media for the Speed King because I came up with that 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, thanks for
We'll
that.
go back
Yeah.
and ask Sonia ours.
I've got everything else except Speed
Yeah.
King for Sonia.
So we'll go back and get Speed King for those who haven't submitted it. Richard, can you take us through the social media predictions you have while I get the ones I have?
Yeah, so my mate Matt has said that pole position Pierre Gasly, and the podium will be Charles Leclerc, Pierre Gasly, and Lando Norris, which I rate. Then after Discord, we've got Macasants, who said Hamilton for pole, and obviously anticipating some kind of incident because Bottas, Perez, Norris on the podium. And M. Alexander has gone for Bottas on pole, and then Hamilton, Bottas, and Ricciardo on the podium.
That's a big call, Bottas to win the sprint race. And what was the podium, sorry?
Hambot Rick.
Hambot Rick, interesting.
Let's put Ricardo third, and you're more surprised about Bottas being on like pole.
Yeah.
Valtteri, it's James.
It'd be like the biggest Bottas move.
So Rhiannon has went with Paul Lewis, podium on Sunday, Ham Verbot. Jamie has went sprint qualifying winner Max, podium Pierre, Max, Charles. And Elsa has went sprint winner Valtteri, Max, Lewis, Checo for the podium. So that's the ones I have. Anyone else got any that they want to share? Anyone got Mazzapin for the race win again?
No, it's okay. We're not as deluded as some people.
Yeah, we've stopped going to Twitter after that one.
I
that
occasionally
goes
throw.
off.
I occasionally
Yeah.
throw a tweet out, and I didn't get any responses
Speaking
last
of, you
time
should
out. So
follow us on Twitter.
Please.
to keep up with some of the latest news.
We do our best. We're not full time.
Exactly, we have lives. I don't, but that's besides the point.
Do we
The
want
rest of us.
Formula 3? I've only seen one of the races, I'll be honest, and it was race 2.
Didn't Leclerc win one of them?
Yes, Leclerc won the first.
Hauger
Victor
won the
Martin
third?
won the second, and Dennis Hauger won the third,
Yeah.
which I think has basically
Hauger.
wrapped up the championship for
Mm.
Hauger.
Yeah, he's
He
got a
won the
massive
threat
points
after-
advantage now.
was under threat, wasn't it? After Spa, just doing one twice.
It was under threat in race 2 when Hauger got a puncture and then Doohan just binned it into the gravel.
Yeah, and right at the end to race 6, carnage. But apart
Yeah.
from that, not too much went on.
We saw more red flags and safety cars in F3 than we did in Formula 1.
Yes, we did.
Which isn't actually that surprising in the grand scheme of things.
Well, we didn't even see the safety car in
No,
Formula 1.
exactly. Well, we did, just in FP1.
Well, that was the medical car.
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't even the safety car.
Yeah. Sad
Bernd
Aston
didn't-
Martin noises.
Yeah, Bernd didn't leave the garage during a Formula 1 session.
Alan van der Merwe has completed more laps of Zandvoort.
Yes. So race 1, anyone see it? I was working, so I missed it, but I seen race 2. I watched it live.
It was kind of like Formula 1 in a way, where you got it done on lap 1, and if you could, force your opponent into making a mistake, you'd be able to get a move, but otherwise it was kind of processional.
Yeah. And it was very much the same with race 2 as well until the very end when everyone started just putting it in the gravel. The safety car really did shake it up because it basically gave a second lap 1.
Yeah.
And then the gap was 3/10 across the line.
So,
Happy for Martin though. He deserved it. He had a great drive and a good race 1. And race 3, I think it's safe to say Dennis Hauger, Formula 3 champion.
I think we knew that from like a couple of weekends
I
ago.
don't
there.
see.
it's
no,
more
because
confirmed
the gap had
now.
closed quite a lot in Spa,
Yeah.
and
so,
then it could have closed quite substantially. Like 50 points in Formula 3 isn't a lot when you consider there's nearly 70, I think, available during a weekend. So one bad weekend and there goes your lead.
Yeah, so it was very much a missed opportunity for doing in race 2. But I mean, you can't really fault Hauger's drive on the Sunday because, I mean, he got pole position, fastest lap, and the race win. Like, it was just waltzed off with it.
Yeah.
Even in the first 2 races, he was the one making overtakes out of everyone.
Yeah.
He is the standout. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's had a great season and well done to him. W Series.
Emma Kymäläinen got
Kymäläinen chucked it on pole, so we had karaoke over the team radio.
Yeah.
Which her race engineer was chuffed about, realizing he had to sing the Spice Girls on live TV.
For
as
context,
chuffed as Carlos Sainz's engineer.
More chuffed.
Yeah, for context, people who don't know that his Danny, I think his name is, made a bet saying if you get it on pole, I'll sing the Spice Girls with you. So there's a video after qualifying of Emma Kymäläinen and her race engineer Danny singing "Wannabe" by the Spice Girls in the paddock.
There's also the really funny team radio after the session ends, and he's like, "We're P1! Oh, we're P1!" Because he's just like realised that she's dumped it on pole position.
And then just a bit, it's like, oh, shit, I have to sing the Spice Girls, don't I?
Yeah. To be honest, other than that, it was Alice Powell won the race. Emma Kymäläinen dropped down to 3rd, and Chadwick stayed 2nd.
The championship is joint first between Powell and Chadwick now, I think.
Spicy. Has it been decided on countback or something then?
Powell's in the lead, I know that.
Yeah, Powell's in the lead.
Oh, okay.
So as it stands, we're asking about WCs. They are still going to COTA and the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico. So they've still got 2 rounds to go. Formula 3 has 1 round and Formula 2 has many.
Has the W Series had more rounds than Formula 2?
Yes.
We've had 5 rounds of W Series and 4 rounds.
Oh, we've had
6 rounds of W Series and 4 rounds of Formula 2.
I suppose there is only 1 W Series race and 3. Yeah, okay. Speaking of Formula 2, there's rumours they're going back to the old format, which I'm very happy about.
I'll admit, I have enjoyed this 3-race format.
Oh, the 3-race format, I mean like the calendar.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrible.
The calendar was so bad. There was too big a gap. while watching Formula 3 and Formula 2 in the same weekend is a lot of driving.
Well, I
and
mean,
it
that's
will,
what we had before pandemic, wasn't it? So
I think it will be quite tough fitting 6 races into the same weekend at Sochi. It'll be interesting to see the schedule when that gets confirmed. 6 a.m. Formula 3 race 1.
on-track temperatures 2.
-12, having to break out the Pirelli ice tiles that they took to the Nürburgring.
Robert Schwartzman would be
Hit
fine.
up Red Bull and get those ones with the chains on that Max took
Oh yeah, the
skiing.
snow tires. Yeah,
It can be done.
I don't think Formula 1 would be too happy at that. Just a thought, like the surface getting absolutely ripped to shreds by some chains.
I don't think it'd do the cars much good, to be honest.
Oh, or
Because
the drivers.
let's be honest, one of those chains is going to break at some stage during a race, and then it's just going to shred an
someone's gonna get a
entire barge
puncture.
board.
Yeah, so that will be interesting to see the scheduling that we need to fit in 6 races.
It hasn't been updated yet. It still just says F1 and F2.
And W Series is going to Mexico. If Formula 1 goes to Mexico, I don't know if they're still using the circuit as a field hospital or not.
I mean, if they're going to it, I doubt it. So
Yeah, but it's Formula 1. They could cancel the race like a week before, being like, we tried. They could go to the circuit that Formula E went to, I suppose.
Which one was that?
I
was
don't
like
know. Puebla.
Pueblo,
yes.
yeah. I was
They
like, I
could go
was
to
gonna say
Puebla.
it, but I was like, is that right?
all I could think of was Pebble. And I knew that wasn't right.
Pebble.
But that would be pending FIA circuit homologation, etc., etc., etc.
Is a
And
great one.
we go green in the Pebble Grand Prix.
I don't know if grade 1, because you don't have to be grade 1 for Formula E
yeah.
yet, even though it's a world championship. So when are Mercedes announcing George Russell?
Tomorrow morning. So in terms of when the
Announce it
podcast goes
tonight,
out,
today it'll have been announced.
yeah,
But
that'll be what,
just
minus 4
remember-
hours.
Yeah, we are. We record on the Monday,
And it is currently 10:25.
so George will either have been confirmed,
Or it will
or
be imminent.
Mercedes will have pulled the funky and confirmed someone else.
So who's going to Williams then?
Albon, probably. Which I love the way. Yeah, we said, didn't we, in our silly season thing, that something would happen that we just didn't mention, despite the fact we mentioned about a million different possibilities.
And it took all of 2 weeks
And,
to completely
yeah.
ruin our predictions.
Albon's Williams, De Vries, maybe, to Alfa Romeo.
I feel bad for Callum a lot because at like the start of the season, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, Callum's definitely getting in that seat." Now he's not even in contention in everyone's predictions at all.
Yeah.
So I really feel bad for him. And these 2 weekends, he's not even at the track for both of them because he's in IndyCar this weekend and then GT Cup next weekend, I think it is. So like, I really feel bad for him there because it's just that's probably like his 2 chances to be an F1 driver.
I mean,
he's doing IndyCar.
You've got probably the top 4 in F2 this season. None of them have got any. Well, Joe's kind of rumoured, isn't he? Occasionally, you see his name, but you've got the top 4 in F2 and last season's runner-up. None of them are probably going to get seats, are they? I think it's just the thing is we get so many drivers come in so young now. Like, look at Lando, George, Max, and so on. They're going to have like 15, 20-year careers, and with only 20 seats, there's just not many.
We need more teams again.
Yeah, and especially when you get the odd pay driver coming in, it just takes up seats. So it doesn't matter what you do. Piastri might win F2 this year, and he's got no chance.
Yeah, then he'll just be out of the drive, and that'll be it.
It'll
be like Callum Ilott all over again.
Like, I actually hope Piastri doesn't win the championship so he can stay in F2.
Yeah. One thing I have heard people say is the other driver in Alfa Romeo, whether it be Giovinazzi or someone else, they're just going to be there for 1 more year, and then Porsche is going to come into that seat with Bottas. So like, I think that's for 2023. That seems most likely, but we need the second seat first.
I think
it makes sense because he's the Sauber driving academy.
Yeah.
If Piastri wins the championship, I think he might get picked up by Mercedes FE.
About that.
Yeah,
Mercedes are dropping out of FE.
But that's after next season.
Oh, is it? Oh.
So they're defending the world championship and then leaving. But they have said that they're looking at keeping the team in the sport. It just won't be under the Mercedes name.
So it'll do a Lotus to Renault to Alpine sort of job.
Well,
Or
it
just
looks like
verse of what Mercedes did, considering they joined as HWA Race Lab and then became Merck.
it looks like we're finally getting the 2019 F2 champion in F1, isn't it? After what, 2 years, having just won Formula E. So perhaps Piastri's going to have to wait a couple of years. Then I was going to take him from Alonso. That's the natural thing, isn't it? Because he's Alpine.
But
Yeah.
if De Vries does get called up, I think it'll be the first time ever we have 2 reigning FIA world champions on the grid.
Yeah.
And Ferrari don't seem to have a say anymore in any seats, let alone Alfa Romeo or anywhere, apart from maybe Haas, but Mick's got that. So
Yeah, Alpha renegotiated their contract when they elected to extend their title sponsorship of the Sauber team, because it is technically still Sauber. It's just got Alfa Romeo badges all over it.
Yeah, Sauber Motorsport.
So they've renegotiated the contract because previously they were only allowed to choose one driver. The other driver had to be a driver of Ferrari's choosing. Hence why Antonio Giovinazzi's got it, because he's in the Ferrari Drivers Academy.
He was in it.
Okay, yeah, it was.
He's a reserve driver now, but yeah.
So he's made it to F1. He isn't really in the driver academy anymore.
Mick is.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
Mick's
Mick
still in a
drives
boat. Mick's basically still in Formula 2.
Yeah.
But
Mick's in a
now they've
house.
renegotiated it so that they can pick both their drivers. So they no longer have the stipulation of it has to be Ferrari's next prodigy, which
Third
would
choice,
probably be Schwartzman. Is he in the Ferrari Driver Academy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, it's good. It gives them a bit of freedom to choose, which I like. Especially seeing as they've got their own driver academy, as refined as that is. But no, I think it's very good for Teo. Very good news for Teo
Yeah,
Porcher.
the Sauber Academy is doing better than the McLaren Young Driver Academy. No one's in it. Well, no, there's one driver in it, and he's in karting.
In Brazil.
The McLaren Young Driver program did produce a 7-time world champion, so
Nick De Vries was in that as well. He was in the McLaren Driver Academy. Well, Young Driver program, but
did they get dropped or leave?
I think he left the year before he won the championship.
Yeah, because Lando.
Yeah, Lando moved to F1, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I do believe that wraps up this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. No, what have I thought? I forget something every week. What have I not done?
Bold predictions, please.
Mazzapindingo and bold predict. Alex.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah. Oh, wow.
See, it's not just me.
I was going to say the league will change hands in the last 5 laps, but now I've kind of said Verstappen's going to start at the back. That's not really going to happen, is it? Like Bottas isn't going to give up the lead 3 laps to go to Hamilton. So a Ferrari will retire with a mechanical issue.
That's very specific.
It's better than unexpected DNF.
Shut the f
I think now's a good time to come to Nia for your bold prediction.
You know what? Cute unexpected DNF.
Richard, if that happens, no points. Ben, moving on.
McLaren's first pole since Brazil 2012.
You're really going all out on this final poll, aren't you?
Yeah, it saves me creating a new bold prediction as well, doesn't it? So
Mad props.
Genius.
Richard?
Speed King, sprint race winner, and Grand Prix winner will all be different drivers.
Did you predict that?
No.
But it covers off possibilities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good point. Well, it doesn't actually.
Yeah, it doesn't.
What?
Really.
What was your podium predictions again?
The handball.
And your pole prediction?
Ham.
Your Speed King prediction?
The.
So Hamilton could take Speed King. Verstappen could take pole, and then Hamilton wins the race.
Or just doesn't.
All 3 of your predictions.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's bold, you know? It's got to be different. It's got to be out there.
I'm going to go with another red flag in the race, of course. Of course, there'll be a red flag in
That's it.
practice.
Bold prediction.
Actually, I'm going to change mine.
Oh, thank God for that.
Because
Yeah,
I
we
don't
can
want to get
give you
bullied.
points. Yeah.
Both Williams points.
Mazzapindingo. Ben, will he finish?
Yes.
Oh, but how many laps have we got?
See, you didn't do the prep.
I don't have the
Disappointing.
book. I just present.
I don't do the laps is on the website.
That's what I'm getting.
As you can tell, we are really organised podcast here.
Oh, yeah. 53 laps we have.
53.
So, Ben, you've said he'll finish. He's going to be lapped. What lap will he be lapped on?
24.
And how many laps down?
2.
Nia.
I'm going with the old faithful. Yes, he will be lap 25 and 3 laps down.
Alex.
You know what? I'm just going to say no. He won't be lapped because he won't finish.
When will he DNF?
Lap 2, not lap 1, lap 2, because either he will have a crash with Mick Schumacher.
No, I'm going to ask you this because
Or-
we're going to give the people who say no a chance for 3 points as well. Why will he DNF?
Well-
Crash or mechanical failure?
Okay, I'm going to say crash, and the reason being lap 2 is it's either going to be a crash with Mick, or he's going to get damage on lap 1, which will then he'll drive into the pits and retire there, which will be lap 2. There you go. Bold.
Fair. Richard?
Big brain.
Thought it was too hard.
Just
I'm gonna
remember, if he
say-
goes into the pits, it has to be evident that it's because of the crash damage for you to get that point. If his engine is on fire, that's mechanical failure.
if the entire front half of the car is hanging on by 2 bolts and 1 piece of carbon fiber string,
That'll be
we'll
the
allow
crash.
it.
Yeah.
If it's
Richard?
like an end plate that's missing, no.
Yeah.
He will finish. What's the fastest lap around Monza? 1:11 race?
The lap record around Monza is 1:21.0 by Rubens Barrichello.
Wow, that's a lot slower than qualifying. But it's all straights, and we know what the Haas is like, so time for more pseudo maths. I'm going to say that they're going to be 2.5 seconds a lap slower.
The fastest lap last year was a 1:22.7.
He's going to get lapped on 22,
All right. And
and
how
he's
many
going
laps
to
down?
finish 2 complete laps down.
Great. So we've done the blue flags twice.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, yes, he'll finish. He'll be lapped on lap 26 because it's Monza and we always have an early safety car because someone will get punterinoed into turn 1. And he'll finish 2 laps down. Okay, that wraps up this week's episode of the Turn 5 podcast. I think it's tradition that we need to do 2 outros every week now.
Except the weeks that you're not here.
Traditions.
Shut up.
Then we do 3.
Exactly. I'm more efficient. Thank you all very much for watching / listening. And we will see you next week for the Monza review. Cheerio, everyone. Have a good night.
Are you gonna say bye?
I was watching you dancing. I'm like, what's going on?
Just say bye.